straight up monster cookie.
Monster cookie.
By that guy and that recipe.
Inspired. So we each got to break off a little piece here. So you can see it's a little gooey. That means it's good.
This is not Cookie Monster, but it is Monster Cookie.
Okay, so we are making monster cookies, one of my favorite recipes here from Mema's cookbook, Cooking from the Heart.
That's right.
Page 96 is the monster cookie recipe. Flip to it. If you don't have this book, get this book. All kinds of cool stuff in it. Right in there, right on the front. So we're making this today. So for ease, for today, printed it out. We've got all of these wonderful ingredients set out. So let's walk through what we've got here. So we've got two, count them, 2 sticks of salted butter. We have our half cup of white sugar. Antique, isn't it cute?
That's right.
I know you got to do your butter first.
And then we've got our 1.5 cups of brown sugar. So those are the first 3 things that we are going to put into the mixer. So just your paddle mixer, your paddle attachment, no big deal. We'll dump our butter in. Dump our sugar. It's our white sugar. And we've got our brown sugar. So what we do is we get this to a point to where we cream it and it's nice and smooth. It doesn't have to go very fast, but you'll know when it starts to cream, it gets all nice and smooth. So we give it a second. So we've started to cream it. We want to make sure that we get all of the ingredients incorporated. So you might have to pause your mixing and for just a second to kind of scrape off the beater, run down the sides, just to make sure that we get everything really well incorporated.
Out of the bottom.
Out of the bottom, making sure that we get it all. Turn it back on. Just let it blend for a little bit. Maybe 10-15 seconds, just as long as it's smooth. So next we're adding our eggs, salt, baking soda, baking powder, and our vanilla. Okay.
If you will, Coach, tell them how much of each, because some people will just go by your talking.
Got it. So we've got a half teaspoon of salt.
Just pour it in there as you do it. That way you'll know.
A half teaspoon of baking soda. We'll throw that in. Salt. Our 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla. You don't want to drink it, it's not very good. But it adds wonderful flavor. And you've got 2 eggs. You just crack them into the bowl, no big deal. I do it this way. Some may feel a little more conscious of the shell. Sometimes shell gets in there. I typically add it. It just adds an extra crunch if that's what you want. So we're just kind of getting all the ingredients incorporated right now. Make sure that the batter is nice and smooth. You should start to smell that vanilla and the brown sugar. Okay. See, it's starting to come together nice and creamy. Now we can start to add some of the guts to the whole thing. So we've got equal parts of flour and oats. Rolled oats, quick oats, doesn't matter, you can use it. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of oats of your choosing, either quick oats or old-fashioned. These are quick oats. So add those right into the bowl. Now with your flour, you want to add it slowly so it doesn't blow all over your kitchen. So you add it a little bit at a time. Because if you've ever baked and had that dust storm that is the flour all over your face, it's no fun. Okay, all of our flour is in there. And you'll start to notice that this is going to become very chunky and thick. And that's okay, that's what it's supposed to be. So we just let that go until all of it's incorporated. You can't see any more of the flour, and you can't really discern any of the oats. So when you're looking at it, again, make sure you scrape your, wow, awesome.
That's really scraping the mixer
So
down.
we're really making sure that we scrape the beater down. There we go. Okay. So make sure that we get our beater scraped down. See, and there, make sure that there isn't any more flour that you can see. There's still a little bit in here. We're going to make sure that that's well incorporated. Okay. Next comes the fun part. Now we get to mix all of our candies in. So I've got 1 cup of chocolate chips, 1 cup of M&Ms. It says peanut butter chips. We didn't have any peanut butter chips, and that's okay. So we're improvising. So these are Reese's Pieces, peanut butter candies.
Y'all,
I'm sure it's probably going to be okay.
you might ought to taste one to make sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll taste one. Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty good. So, 1/2 cup of the peanut butter. Again, whether you use chips or you use the Pieces candy. Then we have 2 1/4 cups of rice cereal, Rice Krispies, rice cereal, whatever you get. So we'll start to add all that in a little bit at a time, because the bowl is going to get really full here. So we just have our mixer on, just keep it on low. I always add the chocolate chips first. I like the chocolate chips. Yeah, these are regular size. You can use the minis if you want, depending on what kind of distribution. The minis give you better distribution per cookie, but the full size will give you bigger chocolate taste in each cookie. So, and we've got our M&Ms. We add those in. Now things are starting to get real. And again, just leave it on low, because it's gonna jump around here because there's a lot going in. Now your Reese's Pieces candies. You can see how it's going to start to thicken up. And now slowly you'll add in your rice cereal. And what we're looking for here is just something that's incorporated. So we've got our batter. It's incorporated. We can see everything. All the pieces. The most important part was getting the early stages creamy and smooth. This stage, you're not going to get creamy and smooth. There are chunks everywhere. And that's how we want it. Okay?
Number 40.
Okay, we got a scooper number 40. We're ready to make cookies. So take a look in here. We got our batter. So this will make single cookies. You're going to get probably 36. We're going to make doubles today because we want to make them nice and big. So what I mean by doubles is 2 scoops. So fill the scooper up, a little hanging over the side, no big deal. That's 1, and then we stack it, press it down on there.
Nice.
So we're going to get 6 of those per tray.
That's why they're called what?
Monster cookies. Now, scooping them out, press it down on there. And those things are going to expand, but they're going to be nice and gooey and soft in the middle, and they'll be just brown and crispy on the edge.
Now, Coach, if you wanted more cookies and smaller cookies, you could just put 1 scoop, right?
That's right. You can just use 1 scoop, and like I said, you'll get probably about 36 cookies. But I like double scoop. I like the bigger ones.
You like the monster ones?
I like them monstery. So these are going to go into a 375 degree oven.
375.
For your first batch, your first 2 trays are going to take you somewhere around 12 minutes. Each batch after that are going to take somewhere between 10 and 11. So it just depends on the desired doneness. So we've already preheated our oven. We're going to throw it right in here. You got top and bottom. Just put them in there. If it's anything like my oven, the bottom doesn't cook as long, so the bottom has to be switched over or switched up. Leave them go for another minute or so until they're done. Okay? All right, so we're pulling them out. Nice and golden brown. So we're gonna let these cool first before we actually put them onto the cooling rack.
Wow.
Nice big cookies. You can just put them on top of one another, or just wherever you got room. And what we'll do is we'll get them off of here, put them on the cooling racks, and we'll put our next batch in, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, so we let these cool for a couple of minutes, just enough to where you can then move into a cooling rack, so they're not continually cooking on your hot tray here. You want them to be a little loose, a little jiggly, but not to where they're not going to set up here on the tray.
There you go, monster cookie.
These are definitely monster.
We got the ooey gooey version here. Why are these ooey and gooey, Coach?
So depending on your oven and depending on how you like it, so we set this batch to 9 minutes versus 12. So they come out a little chewier. The first batch we did at 12 minutes. So for those of you who like them a little crunchier, and for me, I like them a little chewy.
Straight up monster cookie
Monster cookie.
by that guy and that recipe.
Inspired. So we each got to break off a little piece here. So you can see it's a little gooey. That means it's good. Doesn't mean that it's not done. It means that it's good. We'll break off a little piece there. We got a ceremonial test.
Ceremonial. Alrighty.
We're ready. So we'll taste test these. Nice and buttery. Got a good chew to it. Got a nice crunch. You can taste the chocolate coming through and the Reese's Pieces. Good cookie. Thanks, Mema, for the recipe. Good friends. And then you dip it in the pimento cheese.
And a little look forward, Coach, when he comes back, he's going to make a special recipe for us that his mom, is it your mom made?
Mm-hmm.
And let Coach tell him what.
It's a no-bake cherry cheesecake. So we'll make that next time.
Until then,
Enjoy.
monster.
Bye, everybody.